Woohoo! We are live again. Hi, everyone. I have to remember how I did this last time. Welcome to. Nope, that's wrong. Welcome to the Amateur Expert Show. My name is Ashley, and I am going to be inviting Brandon John somehow to this live. There he is. Hey, Brandon. Okay, let's invite him. Hello, hello.
What's up?
How we doing?
I'm good. You?
Welcome to Talk Tuesday.
Appreciate it.
Glad to have you.
How you,
Say it again.
how you been? Good?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Can't complain.
So the premise of the show that we are going to conduct today is to discuss success, to discuss your passion and your purpose and sort of how you got there.
Okay.
So what I'd like to do first is to have you introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay. How's everybody doing? My name is Brandon John. If you don't know who I am, I'm a producer, songwriter from New Haven, Connecticut, and currently residing in New York.
Awesome. So, Brandon, what did you want to do when you grew up, when you were younger?
When I turned 5, I knew that I wanted to be in music. Didn't know what in music, but I knew that very early on at an early time that I wanted to pursue just life in music.
Okay. And what was your motivating factor behind that?
Um, when I was 5 years old, I used to go to my aunt's house in the morning before I went to school because school just started at 9 o'clock and parents
Okay.
work very early. And she used to always play like Michael Jackson concert every morning for some reason. I didn't ask for it; it was just on.
Okay.
And I just saw how all the people were fainting and like I'm like, wow, they're affected by this person um, just entertaining them through music, right? So I was like, oh, I remember saying, like, oh, I want to do that one day in my life. I want to do that. And then like maybe a couple of months later, singing in the church choirs, they asked me to sing a solo.
Okay.
And when I sang, the whole church was standing up. So I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. Let's,
Okay.
let's that's kind of that's what started the whole just love behind music and wanting to be around it and just knowing I'm going to do the rest of my life.
So, I guess my next question would be, what did you think success looked like for a person who did music or was an entertainer at that point?
At that point, um, I don't know if I think at that point, really, I think at being that young, I think success was just basically being able to do it, just being able to be a musician, just being able to play an instrument, or just even whatever that next thing was to sing the next solo or to learn the next song or something. It was just success at that point was just being good at music. It was never like an end goal. Maybe like, okay, I wanted to be a superstar, maybe, but like I don't think like that was during that time the motivating factor of success.
That's awesome. Um, okay, so what was the journey from um, you having that idea from 5 years old to where you are today? Did you get any schooling? Was it on the job training, sort of? Like, what was?
It was a little bit of
Well, I guess
everything.
I should first ask you. So you said you're a music producer. Um, so yeah, tell us sort of the steps to getting from that to the being a music producer.
So I mean, at 5, it was just really just at that point in time was from there on it was just exploring. Really, I just being in church. I was around the musicians. So I used to hang around them. Ended up starting to play the drums in church.
Okay.
Um, I took saxophone lessons. Actually, I took piano lessons at 5 and quit. So it was ex, just exploring until I got to high school. I think what happened was I was starting to sing a lot in middle school and through middle school and high school, and I couldn't find a piano player to play for me. So I started to teach
Okay.
myself to play. I started to teach myself how to play piano.
Wow.
And then from there developed into like going to the studio one time in high school and writing a couple songs and producing a song for somebody else. And I was like, oh, wow, I think this is really, really what I really want to do. I don't think I want to be an entertainer. I think I want to be the person kind of help creating the song behind this person. And then from there, it was already, it from there, it was like deliberate. All right, how I'm going to be able to become a better producer. I went to school, I went to high school. I mean, I went to college for music. I went to Berkeley College of Music, studied songwriting and music synthesis. And right, yeah, that's how, and just kept grinding from there.
That's great. Um, so it was, you definitely took deliberate steps. Did you have any mentors along the way, or um, like what advice would you give your younger self? How should I say this? What advice would you give your younger self? You seem like you were very positive about this all the way along.
Mm-hmm.
So what advice, or what sort of speed bumps did you have, or what were some things that you had to
Oh,
battle, I guess?
okay. Um, I don't know if there was really early on really any battles at the very beginning. I think I had mentors. So my first mentor was the piano player at my church who started teaching me chords. In high school was my music teacher. Um, and I think outside of that, those really, and my aunt was a mentor because she was literally the only person in my family who was a musician. She was married into the family. So like really the only person to have my back, but like somebody to understand my love and passion for music because I don't think anybody really else got it because they weren't a musician. Um, but outside of that, I don't really know if I had many mentors at that at one as an adult getting to college. After that, I think I've just been around a lot of peers. The piece of advice that I would give somebody is really just learn how to trust your gut and trust yourself in the things that you want to do, and also being clear on that. I think the first step is being clear so that you can trust that you know what you want to do. Because after that, I've signed some contracts and done some things that I really didn't at the time. I knew I didn't want to do. Anybody else on the outside would say, "Yeah, that's what you should do," but I felt like I shouldn't have did it, and I did it anyways. One to please somebody else and other people, and even though there were great lessons in it, I knew it wasn't what I really wanted and how I wanted to achieve my goals.
So did you feel pressured into signing them, or did you think it was your only chance? What made you do something that your gut told you not to do, um,
Um,
as it aligned with your career goals?
the first step, I think, one first thing is not being clear 100%, right? Not being clear on what I really, really wanted. That was the
Okay.
first thing. Two was what caused me. I think the pressure of wanting to please somebody else, um, and also that would be the pressure of pleasing somebody else before pleasing myself. That's
Okay.
what it was, and that's
That's
so that's what I would say.
that's good. So has your outlook of success changed since you were 5 or when you were younger?
Sure, yes, it has
And
changed.
how?
I mean,
And
I
how
think
so?
think a couple of different ways. You have goals, right? And once you get to the goals, next thing you have another goal you want to set. So what is success at that time has changed. Also, great story. A great story. I think I one time I went to Mexico and I met this guy on the beach. This white guy playing guitar on the beach, and after after his set was done, I went over there and started talking to him and asked him a question. And they're just like, "Yo, how did you get here?" And he was like, he was like, I was a musician, living in New York, playing in bars, trying to become successful in my career. And he said, I have to ask myself a question: why am I doing all this? Why am I working so hard at this? And his answer was, because I wanted to have enough money to be able to move out to another country and live on the beach and play music for the rest of my life.
Mm,
So, but his idea of success was becoming successful as a musician. That was his idea of success. But
got
then
it.
what happened was his idea of success changed and said, well, I'm only doing this because this is what I really want. So why not just go after what I really want? And what he did, he saved up $40,000, moved to Mexico, started playing on the beach. He didn't have to be a successful musician. Right. So I think I don't have to be, I guess I don't need all this money to come from music anymore. I'm not looking for that. All I know what I really want is really to play music for the rest of my life and enjoy other things in my life. And can I achieve those things? Can I achieve those things without actually being successful financially in music? And the answer is yes. So I'm choosing now to do those things, which has allowed me to love music even more. Right. To also create it without having to be forced. Creating abundantly without having to be boxed into what anybody else wants, and just doing it, because just by being able to do it for the rest of my life, that's success. And I'm okay with that. And I'm fine with that. Not saying I don't want other things, but
right.
I'm okay with that.
So what is something that you learned or something that you're still learning that you wish you knew when you first started out?
That we're going to die. We're all going to die. And what I
you
mean
didn't
by
know when you were young?
That we're all going to die. Yeah, I think that the thing is, like, at a young age, I mean, we don't have this concept of, like, we're scared of death. We're mm-hmm. not. It scares us. We don't want to be anywhere near it, right?
Okay. When you're younger, you're saying.
So, but I got older, I learned the lesson of what that death can be beautiful, in the sense of, like, how can you use it to motivate you? How can you use it to shift? How can I use it to shift my mindset? And instead of looking at it as a bad thing, it's like, what's the blessing in it? And it coming. And the one thing I know is that we never know when our last day is going to be. We have no idea. So just do it now. Don't wait. Just do it now. Just do it now. And just believe that it's all going to work out. So that was kind of a big lesson for me. And also those who say they can, and those who say they can't. But they're both right. So you choose what you want to believe in. I know that, and not caring about what anybody else thinks.
That's great. So that was my last question. Do you want to share with, well, I do have one, like the very last question, but do you want to share with the audience any projects that you're working on now, or where they can find work that you've done already?
Mm-hmm. You can check on any streaming networks, Spotify, Apple Music, or anywhere. Check out Eric Penn and Mark Ferg, Huey Supreme. I think my boy Ibrahim is about to drop a project that I produced also. So be on the lookout for that. Also, I have new projects coming out with Eric Penn, Mark Ferg, working on stuff with Huey. This beautiful voice, Jen Monday, I'm working on a record. I'm working on her project as well. So a lot of stuff coming up this year and the future, yes.
So so if I was looking to be a music producer, how would I know, like, how were you able to connect with these artists?
So what's the question? How
were you able to connect with the artists that you're working with? And then what would you suggest for people starting out who are looking to do the same thing that you're doing? What would you suggest they do to also find artists?
So this one's actually pretty easy, because the 4 artists that I named all connect to each other. So I know Mark Ferg since I was 5 years old, since kindergarten. I've known him. We did talent shows together. We did everything together. And he went to college at VCU, and he ended up meeting Eric Penn during that time. Mark and Eric then moved back to Virginia to New York, and they were coming to Connecticut. They both worked with me. So I met Eric through Mark. Continued to work with Eric and Mark. I've been working with Eric and Mark really since 2012. When I moved to New York, Eric introduced me to Huey. So I started working with Huey, and been working with him for the past 2 years. Eric also has a fraternity brother, Bruce. Shout out Bo. And me and Bo have been working on Eric's project together.
Okay.
And another artist that Bruce knows from New York, Jen, is how I connected with her, and me and him together are producing her project. So find one person. Just find one person to work with. The other dot, everything else will connect. Just find one. And I would say to anybody, a producer coming up, just like find somebody who is, I guess, around your level. You don't need somebody who's already signed, somebody in the industry. Find somebody who is at your level and start working with them and start building that up. It'll connect you to the next person, and it'll connect you to the next person. Steve Jobs said one thing I remember that was like kind of very important. He said, "You can never connect the dots looking forward. You only can connect the dots looking backwards." So you don't know
Mm.
how you're going to get to you're at point A, and your
Yep.
goal is at point B, but you don't know how you're going to get there. You just got to trust that you're going to get there. And then when you look back on it, like, oh, this how it connected, but you never really can tell like directly how this is going to connect. You just got to trust that the universe and
Mm.
God is going to work out for you, but just continue to work at it.
That's so good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So the last question is, what one random tidbit of information can you share with me? I pride myself on knowing a little bit about a lot, and so what's something I can put in my pocket and maybe pull out, later and say, Brandon John taught me this or told me this or
I think I just gave it away.
anything. No, that's no. You have to answer this question.
I know, but it's like the same thing. Let me think. Um,
It could be anything. It could be a Snapple fact that you read once.
Trust yourself. I think you trust yourself. It's a 100% partnership with the universe and God. You put in 100%, the universe and God will put in 100%. You put in 50%, the universe and God will put in 50%. And whatever, no matter how big the goal is, just
Mm-hmm.
you always know the next smallest step. Everybody knows the next smallest step they need to take in every direction they want to go. You know the next small step, and if you don't know anything else, just take the next smallest step. Because after you take that, the next smallest step will come to you.
That's perfect. This went faster than I thought it did, but got some good information out of it.
You're
I
welcome.
I appreciate it. And then, so where can they find you on social media?
Um, on Instagram, I am Brandon John. Um, Twitter, Brandon John. Facebook, Brandon John. Everything's Brandon John except for everything's Brandon John JHON. So yeah, all social media outlets.
Very good. And I'll put the all your handles in the subscription because the spelling isn't traditional. And
Yeah,
thank you, Brandon. This was great.
you're welcome, and thank you.
Anytime. Talk to you later.
Later.